Understanding the Israel-Palestine conflict. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we're diving into a deeply significant topic, the story of Israel and Palestine. This is a conflict that spans decades, filled with history, hope, struggle, and pain on both sides. My goal here is to offer an unbiased view, to understand both nations and their people, and to examine how history has shaped the situation we see today. I want to make it clear that we're not here to pick sides, but to learn about the similarities, the differences, and the complex history that brings us to where we are now. The historical roots of Israel. To understand the modern state of Israel, we need to rewind thousands of years. Historically, this region was home to the ancient Israelites, a Semitic people who established their kingdoms in what is now modern-day Israel. Jewish history traces its roots back to this region, with key cities like Jerusalem serving as cultural and religious hubs. Over the centuries, these lands changed hands multiple times, from the Babylonians to the Romans, then to the Byzantines, and eventually the Ottomans. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, as anti-Semitism surged across Europe, the desire for a Jewish homeland led to the formation of the Zionist movement. The movement aimed to establish a safe haven for Jews in their ancestral lands. The horrors of the Holocaust further amplified this urgency, resulting in global support for the establishment of Israel. In 1948, Israel declared its independence, marking the beginning of a new chapter, but also sparking tensions with the existing Arab population. Interesting fact: Israel is often referred to as the startup nation, due to its high number of startups and technological innovations. It has one of the highest numbers of startups per capita in the world. Palestine, a story of struggle and identity. Parallel to Israel's story is the story of Palestine, a story of people who lived in this region for generations, with a deep connection to their land. Before the creation of Israel, Palestine was home to a diverse community of Muslims, Christians, and Jews, living side by side under the Ottoman Empire and later the British Mandate. For many Palestinians, the land is their heritage, their history, and the basis of their identity. When Israel declared its independence, it led to a mass displacement of Palestinians. Hundreds of thousands fled or were expelled from their homes, an event Palestinians refer to as the Nakba, or catastrophe. This marked the beginning of an enduring struggle for Palestinian statehood and recognition. Today, Palestinians primarily live in the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and as refugees across neighboring countries, longing for a homeland they can call their own. Interesting fact: the ancient city of Jericho, located in the West Bank, is considered one of the oldest inhabited cities in the world, with evidence of settlements dating back over 10,000 years. Let's take a moment to clarify some important terms and events that are central to understanding the Israel-Palestine conflict. Anti-Semitism. This term refers to prejudice, discrimination, or hostility against Jews. It has been a persistent issue for centuries, culminating in tragic events like the Holocaust, which heightened the need for a secure Jewish homeland. Zionism. Zionism is a political and cultural movement that began in the late 19th century with the goal of establishing a Jewish homeland in Palestine. The movement was fueled by growing anti-Semitism in Europe and the desire of Jews to return to their ancestral land. Nakba. The Nakba, meaning catastrophe in Arabic, refers to the mass displacement of Palestinians during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, which coincided with the creation of the State of Israel. It led to hundreds of thousands of Palestinians becoming refugees, a key event in Palestinian history. Babylonians, Romans, Byzantines, and Ottomans. These were major empires that ruled over the region throughout history. The Babylonians conquered the ancient kingdom of Judah, leading to the exile of many Jews. The Romans took control next, eventually destroying the Second Temple in Jerusalem in 70 CE. The Byzantines followed, and later, the Ottoman Empire controlled the region for centuries until the British took over after World War I. The conflict between Israelis and Palestinians is rooted in competing national aspirations and a shared claim to the same land. When Israel was established, surrounding Arab nations refused to recognize it, leading to a series of wars that would shape the region. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War left Israel with more territory than initially allotted by the United Nations, and many Palestinians became refugees. The Six-Day War in 1967 further complicated matters, with Israel capturing the West Bank, Gaza Strip and East Jerusalem, areas with large Palestinian populations. This occupation has been a core issue ever since, with Israeli settlements expanding into these areas and Palestinians demanding their right to self-determination. It's a conflict that mixes territorial disputes with deep-seated national and religious sentiments. Interesting fact: the Six-Day War lasted from June 5th to June 10th, 1967, and despite its short duration, it had a profound impact on the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. The human aspect: life in Israel. For Israelis, life is marked by a complex mix of progress and insecurity. Israel is a thriving nation with a vibrant culture, advanced technology, and strong education and healthcare systems. Yet, the reality of conflict is never far away. Many Israelis have served in the military, as mandatory conscription is a part of life for young adults. The fear of attacks, whether from rockets or acts of terror, is a constant presence. For Israelis, the idea of having a secure homeland, free from threats, is at the core of their national psyche. Despite these challenges, Israel continues to grow and innovate, striving to build a future that honors its past while securing its future. Interesting fact: Israel is one of the few countries in the world with a mandatory military service requirement for both men and women, typically serving for 2 to 3 years. The human aspect: life in Palestine. For Palestinians, life in the West Bank and Gaza is filled with uncertainty and hardship. The West Bank is fragmented by checkpoints, security barriers, and settlements, making daily life difficult. Gaza, on the other hand, is often described as an open-air prison due to the blockade that limits movement, goods, and opportunities. Unemployment is high, and basic services are often lacking. Despite these hardships, Palestinian culture is rich and resilient. Family, faith, and community are central to life, and the desire for freedom is a driving force. Many Palestinians hold on to hope for a future where they can live with dignity, free from occupation, and with the ability to determine their own destiny. Interesting fact: traditional Palestinian embroidery, known as tatreez, is recognized by UNESCO as an important part of cultural heritage, symbolizing the history and identity of the Palestinian people. The points of commonality. Despite the deep divisions, there are similarities between Israelis and Palestinians that are often overlooked. Both peoples have a deep connection to the land, viewing it as their ancestral home. Family and community are core values for both societies, and both cultures have rich traditions, cuisines, and histories that have shaped the broader Middle Eastern region. Moreover, there are individuals and organizations on both sides working tirelessly for peace, people who believe in coexistence and dialogue. These voices, though often drowned out by the noise of conflict, remind us that there is a shared humanity between Israelis and Palestinians. Interesting fact: hummus, a popular dish enjoyed worldwide, is a staple in both Israeli and Palestinian cuisines, symbolizing a shared cultural love for similar foods despite their differences. Arguments for Israel's perspective. Israel presents several key arguments as to why its voice should be heard. First and foremost is the historical and religious connection to the land. Jewish history in this region dates back thousands of years, and cities like Jerusalem hold profound religious significance for the Jewish people. Additionally, Israel emphasizes the need for security. After centuries of persecution, including the horrors of the Holocaust, Israelis argue that a secure homeland is essential for the survival of the Jewish people. Israel also points to the success and innovation of the nation, despite facing constant threats, to demonstrate its legitimacy. It is a democracy in a region with few, and Israelis feel this distinction underscores their right to exist and be heard. The ongoing attacks from militant groups like Hamas further strengthen Israel's argument that it must defend itself to ensure the safety of its citizens. Interesting fact: Israel has managed to make large parts of the desert bloom with agriculture through innovative irrigation techniques, showcasing their resilience and technological prowess. Arguments for Palestine's perspective. Palestinians argue that they have lived in this region for generations and have an inherent right to self-determination. The displacement during the Nakba and the continued occupation of the West Bank and Gaza are central to their arguments for why they should be heard. Palestinians view these events as injustices that have deprived them of their land and their right to establish an independent state. Additionally, Palestinians highlight the daily hardships of life under occupation, restricted movement, economic struggles, and lack of basic freedoms as evidence of the need for international attention and support. They argue that a two-state solution is the only viable path to peace and justice, and that their voices must be heard for such a solution to come to fruition. Interesting fact: despite the challenging circumstances, Palestinian universities continue to produce a highly educated population, with many young Palestinians pursuing higher education in hopes of building a better future. The geography of Israel and Palestine is central to understanding the conflict. Israel is located on the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea, bordered by Lebanon to the north, Syria to the northeast, Jordan to the east, and Egypt to the southwest. The country's borders have shifted over the years, particularly after the wars of 1948 and 1967. Israel's geography includes diverse landscapes, from coastal plains to desert regions, with the Negev Desert covering over half of its territory. The Palestinian territories include the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. The West Bank lies to the east of Israel and west of Jordan, while Gaza is a small strip of land along the Mediterranean coast, bordering Egypt. The borders of these territories are heavily controlled by Israel, with checkpoints and barriers that significantly restrict movement. Interesting fact: the Dead Sea, located along the border between Israel and the West Bank, is the lowest point on Earth's surface and is famous for its high salinity, allowing people to float effortlessly. The hope for peace. As we conclude this video, I hope I've been able to shed some light on the complex and emotional history of Israel and Palestine. This is a story of two peoples, each with their own narratives, hopes, and struggles. The path to peace is undoubtedly challenging, but understanding both sides is a crucial first step. If you found this video informative, please like and subscribe for more content on important global topics. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, but please remember, this is a sensitive topic, and respectful discussion is key. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.